Hello, and welcome to You Write, the podcast where creativity meets community.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Matt.
And I'm NickedYou.
Each week on You Write, we challenge our listeners to write a story in just 30 minutes, using 3 of 5 randomly generated words.
It's a fun and fast-paced exercise to spark your imagination and get those creative juices flowing.
We'll read your submissions, offer feedback, and discuss the unique twists and turns of each story.
Whether you're an aspiring author or just love a good tale, You Write is your place to explore the endless possibilities of storytelling.
So grab a jumbo pack of Jumbo Smarties, get comfy, and let's dive into this week's interview.
Yeah, and remember, the only limit is your ability to speak into a microphone.
That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's see what you got.
Let's see.
Yeah, and everybody give us a hand in welcoming NickedYou to the podcast. Hey, Nick.
Woo! Hey, Nick.
Hey, nice to hear you guys. Well, I hear you guys every week, but hear you guys talk to me.
Yeah. And man, it's great to have you with us. Thanks for making time.
It is so good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess first up, if you want, just give us a little information about yourself, and we'll jump into the questions.
Yeah, I want to hear about you.
Well, I think it's pretty evident. I've talked about a little bit on the server, on the subreddit, as I work night shift. Few people have mistaken me for living in Australia. I don't. I just work night shift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where? A night shift where?
Yeah.
I work in a medical lab.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Okay.
I won't say too much more for fear of exposing my identity.
Okay.
Which I don't think is too much of an issue, but I'm not going to say where.
So you're telling us that you're a spy.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know.
Okay. Right on.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, what else? Any other details you'd like to share about yourself, or even generalities?
Yeah.
Like, we know that you work night shift in a medical lab and that you're a spy. Is there anything else?
I don't think if there's anything that interesting. I prepared for the rest of the interview, but I had absolutely no preparation for this part.
Fair.
Oh dear. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a cyborg.
Oh.
Yeah. Was born with a condition. Had to get an implant. Well, I didn't. That's complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Like
a brain implant?
No, that'd be a lot cooler though.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Nick, I'm also a cyborg, so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I have a fake spine.
Cyborgs unite.
That's right. Well, only part of my spine is fake. But.
Well, I sure hope so. That'd be if it wasn't, that'd be some real impressive technology.
That would be amazing. No, just 2 vertebrae.
It's like, wasn't it Terminator 2? Whenever he could just like run super fast. That's you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why you're so good at roller derby.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of that thing from Cyberpunk. The main character gets a cybernetic spine and it makes him run fast, and I still don't know why.
You'd think the legs would have to be part of the deal.
But no, it's the neck.
Yeah, I thought that was my thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out legs are just horribly underutilized, and it's all the spine's fault.
Yeah. I mean, the spine is kind of like the core of things.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As Socrates once said.
Oh, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He said a lot of cool shit.
Yeah. Socrates, man.
Okay. So, Matt, do you have our first question?
Yes. So, just generally, how long have you been writing, and what called you to writing in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
I think I started writing in middle school. None of it was very good, but I just had a lot of energy and ideas racing through my head, and I needed to put them down somewhere.
Nice.
And that was kind of the start to it. But I started reading more, and I got a little bit more of a taste for things, and there were things that weren't doing things I liked, and I started trying to write stuff that I liked more.
Okay, so I have a question though. What kind of stuff did you start writing? Like when you started out, were you like immediately doing the kind of video game type of stuff,
Or
or
even just like fantasy. Yeah.
or did you start
No.
with another type of fantasy or something else?
Bad creepypastas that I wrote on graph paper in math class.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Pasta? Awesome.
It's for the best that I have lost those.
Well, if you manage to track any of them down, we would all be fascinated to see them. Yeah.
We should
I will
start a
not.
section. He's like, nope. We should
Absolutely
start
not.
a section where people can add childhood writings.
Oh gosh.
I
yeah.
would love to add my childhood writings.
You might be the exception. I think everybody
Yeah.
would be mortified to share their childhood
Oh,
writings.
can we please just open it up just in case? I feel like Jake would, because he's like, I started writing at a very young age, you know?
Maybe.
Can we do that?
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see what we can do.
All right.
Well, that's awesome. So I just wanted to make everyone aware. NickedYou has been with us since episode 3.
Wow, Nick.
You've been hanging in with us since the very beginning. So I
Hell
just wanted
yeah.
to, first of all, thank you for just participating so regularly and consistently. So
Thank you,
it's
Nick.
always fun having you with us.
For sure.
Oh, thank you. I get free. I get free feedback, and the weekly challenges are good because I'd been going through a creative dry spell for the last previous while, and because the old podcast Do the Right Thing ended, and that was really my number one way to keep in the writing habit, and I fell behind after that ended. So seeing that you guys started something up, I was like, oh yeah, I need to if I want to get back into writing.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, that was our thoughts exactly too. I didn't write basically at all after they stopped. And so just to offer that back up, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is so exciting. And we're so glad that you have an outlet for that, because you write so many creative, interesting things that it would be a shame if they didn't exist. For sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to ask, like, are you super duper into video games? And what kind of video games are your favorites to play? And is that kind of like your main pastime?
I'm barely ever into video games, ironically.
Oh,
Interesting.
The only game I pretty much ever touch is this game that started out as a Flash game and then ended up on Steam when Flash died, called Chess Evolved Online.
Ooh.
And it's like a CCG chess game where you make your own army with different pieces and stuff. And funny enough, that's actually where my Reddit username came from.
Oh, okay. How so?
Interesting. Yeah.
That was just my username on Congregate where it started.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay, so like, are you just really, I mean, what draws you to that? Because when I think of you and your writing, I mean, I know that the like novel Bimber stuff is, well, it does have elements of like video game stuff, like the powers and skills and whatnot. So are you just like, since you're not like a huge gamer, are you just like super drawn to, what draws you to that kind of video game feel?
Well, it's the biggest factor is I started reading the One Ring In, which is the biggest thing in the lit RPG genre, and also just the largest book ever.
Ooh.
Very literally, it is 15 million words and counting.
Oh my God.
So
is it bigger
I'm
than the
reading,
Magna Carta?
Okay.
I don't know the word count of that, but probably.
Okay. Yeah, 15 million is a lot of words.
Wow. Yeah, that's a huge undertaking. Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of things I do enjoy with lit RPG is that I can just sit down and I can write out a list of skills that a character has and just think about like what would make sense for this character to have, and start thinking of any defining abilities they have. And from there kind of work backwards sometimes and think, okay, what was their life like that they leveled up this way?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a fascinating approach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also just it satisfies the basic urge to write lists.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And on that note, with like all of the information in the world that of Sepura, Viscera, and Badger, that whole world seems pretty vast.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're keeping like a database or a spreadsheet? Because that, I know personally speaking, that's kind of a neuroses of mine. Is I just love categorizing and cataloging information, and it just seems like something that would really slot into that, is just keeping track of all of this and when you reference certain things and who has what skills and things like that.
Oh yeah, I use Obsidian. I highly recommend it. It's a app that on your your computer that you can basically make an offline wiki with all your notes, and you can create links and tag your files, so you can
Obsidian
organize your things pretty well. And that's been a godsend to me for getting all my notes in order instead of trying to use Word docs.
Oh yeah. So on Obsidian, is that like specifically for writers? Or
I know that it has some like fancy commercial versions, and I think there are businesses that use it, especially when you pay the money to have it to link the shared database so that you can like collaborate with coworkers and have this huge file thing that you can all access. And I imagine that's pretty useful for them, but I don't use it outside of my own personal life. So
okay.
And the regular desktop version, that there's one that you can just get for free.
Cool.
I just downloaded it.
So. You know what? I'm gonna download that right now too.
Awesome.
I have a question about one of your characters in your novel Bimber work. Okay, so Sepura Viscera. I want to know, where did you draw inspiration for her character? But not only her, like the actual like combinations of animals of all of the characters. Like I just feel like it's so creative. Is there anywhere in particular that you drew inspiration for the combinations of animals, and also for Sepura Viscera in specific, like her personality and elements of her character?
Okay, well, yeah. Just generally, when I first started writing some of the ideas of this project, I was writing out I wanted to take inspiration from more real life species that were smart and could feasibly like make civilizations and stuff. And so and that's where I came up with the corvids being a species. I really like that.
Yeah, that's an especially awesome one. Yeah.
And then Badger is a giant, and actually that was another one because I decided to make my giants sapient gigantopithecines.
Ooh.
Oh.
I like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then I started making other species that weren't derived from real animals that would conceivably evolve intelligence, obviously. And one of the things I was just like thinking of, I was just trying to think of different animals to take inspiration from, and there was a stray moment in The Wandering Inn where it was mentioned that some minotaurs in that world had hooves and others had human feet. And I started thinking of that and thinking about like the how much a species could have a spread of characteristics. So I liked the idea of a singular species that was satyrs and minotaurs and centaurs and all the other kind of related combinations. And that was that was why I came up with the turtles, and I still can't really come up with a better name for the species.
I think it's fantastic.
It's a perfect name.
Yeah.
Why would you want a different one?
I think you nailed it on that. Yeah.
I'm glad you two like. I just keep thinking the turtle means bull specifically.
Yeah.
I know that's not right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I get your hesitation there.
I might have some ideas for that.
I'll be happy to hear them at a later date, probably, because if we just start talking ideas, we'll probably be here all day.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'll DM you.
As for Sepura viscera, this kind of ties into adventurers in general. I've just worked a variety of odd jobs over the years, and I say that like I'm old, but I'm not. I just feel old, and but just kind of drawing on that feel of just you're dealing with this exhaustion and frustration from your coworkers and the work itself and the customers and whoever you have to report to, and they keep rotating out to see who's going to cause you grief today, and that's a big part of that kind of tone that I try and strike, where adventurers are basically blue collar workers and not necessarily very happy about it.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely comes through, like the exhaustion and just like the exasperation of Sepura.
Yeah. Yeah. And also kind of goes to explain why they're doing this. It's almost like it's just to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fascinating.
There's other reasons, of course, and some of them, like in real life, just have some passion for their work, but there is always an element of they have bills to pay.
Yeah, that's very fascinating. I like that. I like knowing that was the kind of a spark for the adventurers themselves.
I like that.
Yeah. So I'm curious, while we're on the topic of your novel bimber submission with Sepura, I'm curious what your writing regimen was like whenever you sat down to write each week, because you submitted a pretty prodigious amount of text to us each week. And I was just curious how much time you devoted each week to crank out that amount of your story.
There was a lot. I didn't keep exact count of the hours I spent, especially after the first one. I think there were a lot of times it was just I had a weekend and I would get regular housework done on the first day and then try and write what I could, try things out. And then Sunday night I would just get a meal in me and then sit down and write as much as I could, try and make what I had written throughout the rest of the week and the day before just work.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you're doing most of that in a single sitting then?
A lot of it was, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
amazing.
Very impressive. Yeah.
What would the meal often consist of? Curious.
Mostly pasta.
Like, when you say pasta, do you mean you made the pasta, or do you mean like fazoli's, ramen? What exactly do you mean by that?
I just use store-bought bucatini.
Oh,
okay. Nice.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you prefer marinara or cream sauce?
I don't usually go for sauces. I just use a little bit of garlic butter and some Parmesan.
Oh, okay. That's like legit.
Yeah. Yeah, that is legit. Awesome.
Okay, nice. Okay. I have a question that's actually kind of, well, not related to writing necessarily, but I'm curious about what you do outside of working and writing.
Oh, let's see. Well, not a lot. Because night shift doesn't give you much of a social life. I do. The obvious answer is I read a lot. And
excellent.
I'm active in a couple of. I say a couple. I mostly just one big fandom community for Wild Bows fandom, and that I'm on the Parahumans Discord server.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. I wanted to get to Wild Bow at some point because it seems like you've followed very closely with Wild Bow's work, which is Worm, Pale, Pact, Seek, I believe, is their most recent web serial. And I'll be honest, I've tried a couple times, but it's such an undertaking. I haven't really dove off into it, but I know that Wild Bow's works are highly celebrated, and I'm anxious to really just get involved with it at some point whenever I have more time. But that's awesome. So you're really active with the Wild Bow fandom, it sounds like.
Somewhat. I'm hardly the loudest voice, but I'm somewhat known in the community. If you mention my name, some people will probably know.
Awesome.
And there's ironically, it's actually I regularly share my weekly submissions, and I have a whole several people, I think, who pay attention.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay. Like what submissions?
Weekly submissions to this podcast.
Okay. So you share your weekly submissions to this podcast with the Wild Bow community.
Yes.
Awesome. I love that.
I actually it was on Reddit. I reached out directly to Wild Bow, like, hey, if you want, you can submit stuff to us. I never did hear back, which is fine. I mean, I'm some random internet stranger, so but I do know that Wild Bow submitted early on to Do the Right Thing a couple of times. Yeah. Oh man, their stuff is very clean and very polished. Such a very capable writer and just a machine. Yeah. Is it like every 5 days that they're adding to their web serial, something like that?
Well, it's about that. He's had more difficulties as of recently, just due to life stuff. But yeah, he's he's pretty regular with his updates.
Yeah, very.
I've never good. This is my first time hearing about this person. Or this parahuman. I had no idea the existence of this Wild Bow character. Yeah,
so just a little backstory. Doof Media, the podcast company that hosted Do the Right Thing, Scott and Matt Moradiddamail ran a podcast called We Got Worm. Okay. Which I believe is inspired from Dumb and Dumber. Okay. But it's covering Wild Bow's web serial Worm. And that really sparked them. I wasn't a part of that one. I didn't listen to that. But I jumped in on Kingslingers, which they did a little bit later. So there's a lot of overlap with Wild Bow and Doof Media.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Alrighty.
So the crazy thing is, his latest serial Seek. There was one of the submissions that he made on Do the Right Thing was kind of like one of the seeds, I believe. That it was a short story that he kind of expanded on and tried different things with in that setting, and that turned into Seek.
Oh, fascinating! That's really fascinating. Do you? I'd be curious to know if we could track down that episode of Do the Right Thing and just go back and listen to it.
I don't know the episode, but the story was called Sign.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can dig that up. That'd just be fascinating to listen back. Because I went through the reading list and the things that you mentioned that you were reading. This is a while ago on the subreddit, but you'd already mentioned The Wandering Inn, Wild Bow's Seek. And with that, I was like, man, I really need to jump in. And so I started reading Seek actually last night. Oh. And it's fascinating.
Okay.
Yeah,
it is very good. Yeah. I am extraordinarily thrilled with it. I will point out that his previous work was Claw, and it is his shortest work, so it's a bit more accessible.
Okay.
To people. It's also really good, and but it's still very long. Like, it's short for a web serial, but that's still over 300,000 words.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah. I suppose on that vein, do you see yourself submitting in a serial format the way like Wild Bow is, and the kind of the way that you did for Novel Bimber? Is that something that you think that you would continue to do and maybe start doing online self-publishing that way?
I am actually thinking of that. I do feel like I hit a stride this past month, and then the week after I was totally burned out. So I need to get more of a more ability to pace myself and learn to be able to keep up a speed that I can maintain. But I do feel like something clicked, and I'm not sure if it was what combination it was of just hitting a critical mass with all my notes, that things that I didn't have any inconvenient questions I couldn't answer quickly, or if I'd just sat with those two characters enough, or if I had just developed that particular area of setting enough. But it was really running so much smoother than writing usually does, and it was very nice.
That's awesome.
That is so awesome
and
to
it
hear.
feels like you could definitely be capable of doing a series like that because your writing is so prolific. But like you said, pacing yourself more to like an amount that you could keep up with like every few days.
Yeah, or even just spread out the load a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
That's awesome. I love that.
I like the way that you phrase that, not having any inconvenient questions you couldn't answer quickly, or just having a real strong familiarity with this setting, this world, that you reached a critical mass, because that's really what it feels like. Like as a reader, it felt like you found something really familiar here. And the more that we read it, the more familiar we are with it. And I think that your familiarity with it is just really coming through, and it's just starting to feel very lived in and real.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's just getting better and better.
Yeah. And I do know that is not the only lit RPG setting that you submitted to us. So I was curious if you planned on... well, I say plan. Nobody really plans. But if you have any other ideas for some of your other settings, the one that comes to mind is Platinum Peak Saga, which I know wasn't lit RPG. It was more fantasy, but with Arquin and crew. I was curious if you had more in mind for them.
I do have some ideas in mind, but I need to sit with that setting a while longer. And a large part of that is because I'm not as familiar with the genre as I am with lit RPG. That setting was in the cultivation fantasy genre, and that is something I'm still a lot newer to, and I'm still kind of finding my feet with. And it was fun to write in, and part of writing it was actually just trying things out and seeing what I did and didn't like, and it was very helpful. But for now I'm taking a step back from that so that I can get a better idea of what I want to do with it. I will note that there was that one shot story I did. What was the name of it? I don't remember. It was the thruple story that I wrote. Oh, yeah. And that was supposed to be set in the same world.
Nice. I want to know what do you think is like your favorite thing that you've written, or your favorite like series that you've written? Yeah,
or I'll piggyback on that. The favorite world that you've built.
Okay, well, this is kind of a cheap answer for world built, but I actually have like these two big overarching projects that most of what I've written falls into one or the other of. There's that government paranormal investigator world.
Oh yeah,
There's a few entries in there, and then the other thing is this small isekai multiverse idea that includes the lit RPG world and the Platinum Peaks saga world. And and the idea is that there's different realms where they all that are separate and have their own magic systems and stuff, but they people can sometimes pass between them.
Very, very Sanderson Casimir. Yeah, fascinating. Okay, that's very cool.
May I ask what part of the country you're from, or is that a secret?
I'll say I'm from the West Coast.
Oh, right
okay.
On. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to know, how in the world do you come up with your names?
Oh yeah.
Let's see, I actually wrote this one down, so that's nice. So one of the most common things I do is I just I think of like some words I'm associating with whatever I'm naming, and just mix and match some of the sounds.
So it's more phonetic.
Yeah, it's much more phonetic than anything.
Fascinating.
And then a lot of times they just take a common name and I tweak it and try and make it sound a bit more interesting and not just like whatever I'm taking from.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, fascinating. Right on.
Sometimes I'll use when I'm using like word association and stuff. I'll look at different languages, especially for things that are supposed to have like some kind of shared cultural origin.
Okay. Be honest. Have you taken anything from Mongolian?
Not yet.
Okay, because I think that it's you who sometimes has characters whose names sound Mongolian to me.
Huh, interesting.
Okay.
Wonder why that is. We'll have to dissect that later.
We will. Oh, we will.
You mentioned what was it, like the kind of government paranormal world that you had built, and that takes me back to that takes me back to the Fall Cafe. Is that one of the stories that fell into that? Okay, that was one of my absolute favorites of yours from recent memory, at least, and I just loved that conversation that they had there between our main point of view character and this faceless woman, like, and the whole setting just felt so rich, despite how just sparse it was described.
Vague it was. Yeah, it was vague yet rich.
You somehow struck gold in that scene with the dialogue. And I was just, I wanted to, commend you on that and see what your plan was for that particular story.
You mean like, what was I thinking going into it?
Yeah. What your inspiration was and kind of if you're willing to give us a direction that you're planning on taking that.
Oh, man. Let's see if I can remember that far back. What was I? I think my the thought process going into it was I was thinking of the prompt was the Fall Cafe, and it made me think of a date, and I thought I don't want to do that, so I thought of the setup of it seeming like a date, only to kind of go back into the other implication of like the autumn leaves prompt, and that's so it's the creepier vibe, the Halloween style. So it was the charming autumn, and then give way to the creepy autumn.
Yeah, that was just such an excellent tone that you struck. With that is very cool.
It was very unique, I felt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As for future plans, I am so not sure. That project I keep on revising, and there's a lot of stuff in the background I want to get right and nailed down. That's like overarching stuff that is really hard to do in a contemporary setting, because if you write any kind of detail, it has implications.
Yeah. And one issue with modern, like, setting anything in modern worlds is cell phones and communication and how you handle that. So yeah, I also struggle with the idea of basically always having a means to talk to anybody, and just the issues that arise with trying to write in that world. So
or even live in that world.
Exactly. Yeah. So I understand that challenge.
So what role would you say, like how big of a role does writing play in your life? Because it sounds like it's a pretty huge part of your life.
Yeah, I'm hoping to try and make a career out of it.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a passion, and I'm hoping I can make at least some money off of it. But it's also just a good way to meet and hang out with friends. I'm in besides Wild Ghost fandom, I am semi-active in a couple other communities, just full of creatives where we just talk shop.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, and that actually leads me into a question I had, was what other writing communities are you a part of? Because of how much you've written to us, it makes me feel like this is something that you do. Even if we weren't here, you might continue to do writing like this. So if you're willing to share, what other writing communities do you participate in?
I'm on the subreddit and Discord server for good world building.
Oh,
so
okay.
I guess you can hunt me down there if you're determined. And it's a smaller community, but it's pretty relaxed, and I like it.
That's
Really
awesome.
nice.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Do you participate in any like writing groups, like in-person writing clubs? Like I think there's one here in our community, Rachel and mine's community, that meets like semi-weekly, something like that. I was wondering if you might participate in anything like that.
No.
I imagine working at nights makes it tough.
That's one factor. Also, I just don't like going out.
Fair. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Okay. You could tunnel there.
Okay.
Well, the other thing is I prefer generally to talk online because it lets me edit my thoughts more before I say words, which is such a big help to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. Anything that I write, it comes heavily edited. Like, I don't think I've ever submitted an actual rough draft of any kind.
Hell no.
I'm too paranoid. I can't do it.
Nope. Oh, I edit the shit out of my stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, I believe Rachel and I may be out of questions. I'm just verifying that I don't have anything else here. So with that, let's jump over to our listener submitted questions.
Yeah.
So up first from Walker by Faith is, how on earth do you write action scenes so well? Can you teach us?
Oh, yeah.
And All Fair echoes this. Yeah.
Well, a big factor, I think, is that it's just familiarity from practice and reading a lot of action. And I think that this is the question that I had to sit down the longest with, because I was like, oh man, I don't even know how I do this. But I did start like thinking about how I did it, and I said, oh, okay, I do actually have something actionable. And a big part of the familiarity and practice is that I think that really helps me with pacing and knowing how long to linger on specific moments and when to move along, and how much detail to devote, and when things are going to be rushed in a good way versus a bad way. And a lot of that's kind of I think that's intuition that gets developed, and I still worry about it a lot. And that's the first thing I had. And then the next thing I wrote down was don't do all or nothing, because that keeps a sense of danger and uncertainty. So instead of character sticking a landing, they stumble, and instead of them just overwhelming an opponent, they visibly strain, or they make a strike and it fails. They have to do a follow-up strike. And so there's things that barely work or partially work or work for only a little while. And that adds to the sense that this is more of a struggle. And kind of related is a focus on sensation and trying to make it feel visceral. And it's so hard. That's one that I struggle with still a lot. And that's trying to work in the imagery that you want. I tend to lean towards more physical sensations, but I want to get better at visual and scent and sounds and incorporating those. But it also includes like showing enemies and allies hurting to add like more texture to the action. And that I think that's important for making it more immersive. And then the next thing I had was that setup is really important, because you can it's important to establish a baseline and expectations for what the characters are capable of, so that the audience isn't just constantly getting surprised, even if you do expand on their abilities and showcase new ones in the course of a fight, just because you can't. It's generally frowned upon to list out all the characters' abilities beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the things you're saying are reminding me of Sanderson.
Yeah.
Like the part about try and fail. You know, you got to make them attempt something and fail at it.
Yeah. Or the
like
yes, but no, and. Yeah.
And also the what does he call it? What Nick was calling the setup for the characters, like promises.
Yeah, you
or
can't just
expectations.
then suddenly have the ability to overcome this. You have
you're
to
setting up.
Yeah.
You know what they're capable of.
Yeah. Otherwise, it just turns into Deus Ex Machina. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can't just write them out of it because, like, it's just so unsatisfying that way. And that is something that you routinely pull off, I think, is making it seem like a challenge. Like it never just feels like they're never like, it never comes across like it's too easy. It always feels like they're straining in some way. And the degree that our characters are struggling does vary.
Totally.
Yeah. And
because
especially
then also whenever you do occasionally pull out a just like domination, it makes it that much more powerful to read.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So that is something that you do very successfully pull off. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And my last point on that action thing was that limited resources are really good for making tension. And like Badger, I if I go back and edit a couple of those fights, I'll probably focus more on it. But Badger has only so many arrows, and that's a concern when he's an archer, and that's his whole shtick.
Yeah.
And so
and that's something that you do set up is like, well, are you going to run out of arrows?
That is some really great advice on writing action sequences.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we should have that as a prompt where we use Nick's list of,
best
tips.
practices.
Best practices. And like everybody has to write a good action sequence.
Yeah. Cause that's something that I actively avoid.
Yeah. I just don't do that.
Yeah. I'm like, I can't do it. So yeah, that would be an excellent challenge.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
And that is like, thank you, because that's very actionable. Like you said.
One note I was adding on to that was that resources can include the character's body and how many injuries they can sustain before they need medical attention. So like if they get even a small wound and it's bleeding, that kind of sets a ticking clock where they have to finish what they're doing before and they have to do it fast enough that they can get themselves fixed up before they start losing
Bleeding
functionality in the fight.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
That is.
Oh,
and the specific thing I did want to add is that I do find it, as I was writing lit RPG stuff more, I do find it easier to write action there because I can just write out a defined toolkit for the character ahead of time that I can pull from, and that does make it flow a bit smoother, I think.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I hadn't thought about it as toolkits that you can establish and just give to a character that another character may share as well. That's fascinating. That's very cool.
And that was all I had for that question.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Our next question is from Jake with, what is your favorite thing you have written for the podcast and what did it teach you about writing?
That's well, I have a few favorites, but they're usually my favorites because I thought I did things right, and thus I didn't really learn too much of anything from writing them.
Right.
So I can give a few things that I really liked, and there were some takeaways. The story I probably learned the most from was the one-off story, The Launch, where a woman is interrupted at work due to her husband ending up in an accident. And I didn't love it, but that was the story where I started more writing in sections. So instead of just sitting down and writing just the whole thing, starting at the beginning, I would kind of skip around a bit more, and I would think of the moments that I really wanted to work in and write around those instead of just start at the beginning and finish when the clock stopped. And I do think that has really helped because it lets me write in a direction a bit more. And also it just helps me get things done in the 30-minute time limit.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, nice.
That's awesome. Anything else you'd like to share with that one? Any other stories that stood out to you of your own?
There were a few others that I did that I was pretty proud of. A firefighter story was interesting because I really liked it, but it was also the first time I tried writing a profession that wasn't strictly violent in a lit RPG setting, and I really liked it. And I was actually a bit annoyed that I introduced a villain to fight in there, because I kind of wanted to go and just see more of like what a day in the life for these characters would be like, and I think I'll probably do more of that in future stories. And then there were a couple stories, I think that actually three, that I think turned out almost exactly how I wanted. The first was that summer camp trip story with Ethan and the dog Jackie, and that was
where Jackie was talking.
Jackie talked exactly once, and that was a good example of the writing that key moment, because I really built a whole story around that moment of Jackie talking and the sudden lurch that it caused, just from a normal day to something way, way more foreboding, and I really liked that.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I agree. That's a standout of yours. Yeah, for sure.
And then kind of for similar reasons, Year 18, that was the story I wrote where the guy suddenly ends up underground and a mole tunnels into the cavern. That was, I keep on going. One of my favorite ideas is the idea of disorientation as horror. And that I think was the best I'd done trying to capture that. And I did go and edit another draft of that in my Google Doc, and I didn't really need to make many changes. I was pretty satisfied with it as it was. And then the last story I think I did almost I was largely happy with was the Kelpie story from way earlier on, and that was probably the earliest story that I could say I was satisfied with.
Yeah, I had a note here about the Kelpie. That's the horse, the water horse that drags people. Is that right? Like it lures people into the river to drown, essentially.
It lures people onto its back to ride, and then it drowns them in the river.
Yeah, that story was so cool. I remember that because that was a really early story, and it's always stuck with me. I really liked the Kelpie story.
Yeah,
so
that was good.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, our next listener submitted story question comes from Steve. What personal things have you gone through that you've put into your writing? How was that process?
Well, I kind of went over this earlier, but writing adventures, I draw on going to work and just dealing with all sorts of nonsense from one direction or another, and that's kind of the big one. And then, like, obviously, all my characters draw at least a little bit from me, or just trying to explore a mental space, and I won't say too much about my personal life, but I'll say that it's a regular thing I tend to include is like trying to make it through life in face of just systemic issues, and like trying to balance the big picture as well as just what's in front of you.
Okay,
right
nice.
Yeah. I love that answer.
I do too.
And our final question comes from Richie Posier. This comes from someone who has always wanted to, tried to, and trashed every attempt at the thing you do so well. How do you start writing a fantasy story? Is it a word or an idea? How do you come up with your names, which we discussed, and what fuels this passion you have for fantasy?
That's a good question.
Okay, so the first one is like how to actually start writing a fantasy story. Mostly it's the idea for me. Sometimes one of the prompts just captivates me, and I build stuff around the image or sound or music. So that's more like from the story perspective. But from a world building perspective, I tend to just, like I said, I write down random character ideas. For like just like what kind of personality or niche they fill and think about what they're like, and sooner or later I start actually filling in some blanks for like what culture they are a part of, and that gives me some more. And I start thinking of more what how the character exists in relation to the culture and the wider world around them, and that tends to be where ideas click, and that's definitely where it clicked for Sepura and Badger.
Okay,
That's awesome.
yeah.
And I suppose what is the fuel behind this passion for fantasy? Does it just go back to that's kind of sounds like where you began writing was in this kind of fantasy. So is what keeps you coming back here?
Well, mostly it's just really fun.
It really is, yeah.
But there's a Terry Pratchett quote that I kind of remembered right before we're recording this, and I can never find it easily. But he said that if you show a picture, or if you show a wizard with a dragon sitting on his shoulder, you should have the dragon shit down his back. Because, and even if it's a little funny, it is more interesting, and it's about the mundane and the fantastic accentuating each other, and I get a lot of feel out of that.
Interesting.
That's very cool.
That is. I'm gonna have to like chew on that for a while.
Yeah. There's a lot to take in with that idea.
Cool.
That's very cool. Yeah, and how I love that idea.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's so cool.
That's really good.
Well, all right. I believe that is all of the questions from our listeners, from us. So at this point, I want to hand it over to you, Nick. And if you have any questions or any comments you want to say to us or other listeners, you have the floor.
Thanks for all the good questions this week, and thanks for all the feedback. That's the biggest one, and I want to say that. And this is something very funny that I thought of while coming up with answers for this interview is that I thought would just be an entertaining anecdote to leave it on, is that the movie Prey and the movie Megamind both have very good climaxes in terms of action, and for very similar reasons.
I have not seen Megamind. I do know Prey. Okay. I'll have to chew on that one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, anything else you have for us, Nick?
Oh, that was it. It was just something funny.
Oh, okay. I love it. Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you, Nick, for joining us here. Thank you for making time. And
thank you, Nick. That was so intriguing and educational, actually.
Very, yes. Yeah. I learned a lot here in this. So thank you so much for sharing all of your insights, and look forward to what you have in store for us for 2026.
Most definitely.
Thank you. And I look forward to writing more.
Yay.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that is our third Get-to-know-Yule.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure it is.
We're recording these a little out of order, so I had to remember which one this slots in. So up next for next week, we will be hanging out with none other than Allfair Chatwin.
Allfair Chatwin.
So we'll see you next week, Allfair. And as always, thanks everybody for tuning in.
Yep.
And we'll see you next week.
See y'all at the next Get-to-know-Yule.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Bye.